Welcome to Cooking Classic. I am Kim McClendon, paired here at the Pembleton Culinary Institute with Chef David Pembleton, who is a professor here. Chef Pembleton, what are you going to be making for us today?
Well, Kim, we're going to be making a variety of salads today, some complex, some simple, but all with very fresh ingredients and with nice light dressings.
Okay, wonderful. I'm looking forward to making those salads with you. And also, Chef Pembleton, could you tell us a little bit about the program here at Luzerne County Community College?
Yes, at the college here we offer 3 different programs, one in hospitality business management, one in culinary arts, and one in pastry arts. We offer an associate's degree in each one of those programs, a certificate, or a diploma. So depending on the student's goals, if they want to be in management, we suggest they go to the AAS or AOS degree. And if they just want to go to work, we recommend the certificate or the diploma programs.
Okay, so there's really a variety of different jobs and careers that any student could really kind of get into as they leave the Culinary Institute.
Absolutely. There's
Okay,
lots of employment.
Wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to creating that variety of salads as we come back to Cooking Classic.
Are you looking for a place to be yourself? A place to grow and express your creative talents? How a better place with talented instructors who will help you achieve your goals along the way at every step? Well, look no further. You found it. Luzerne County Community College Communication Arts Department is the place for you. With many majors ranging from theater to photography to graphic design to music recording and many, many more, LCCC's Comm Arts Department has everything a creative individual needs to turn their passion into a career. With fun and educational hands-on classes, students will spend their time working in a creative environment while they learn techniques to help grow their skills in their chosen field. With the help of talented instructors and specialized classes, students will earn their 2-year associate's degree with ease and have everything they need to transfer schools or go right into the workforce. You're ready for anything. LCCC's Comm Arts Department. Come see for yourself.
Welcome back to Cooking Classic. I am joined with Chef David Pembleton here at the Pembleton Culinary Institute. And Chef Dave, you're going to be creating that variety of salads for us. What's the first salad that you're going to make for us today?
Well, the first one, Kim, is one of my favorites called a steak salad, where we're going to take a nice piece of lean meat and we're going to grill it, which is going to give us that nice charred flavor. We're going to pair it with some grilled vegetables such as tomatoes and onions and zucchini. We're going to accompany that with some nice fresh greens like spinach and romaine, which offer different variety of flavors. And we're going to combine all those together so they come to one beautiful presentation that has a lot of flavor and a lot of nutritional value.
Okay, wonderful. Well, let's get started, Chef
Okay.
Dave.
First thing we're going to do here is we're going to take some vegetable oil and we're going to coat the steak.
Okay.
Because we have to put the steak onto the broiler. Okay.
Now
So you could use other types of meat too, Kim. You could use sirloin steak if you wanted to. You could use a tenderloin steak. You could use a variety of different types of meat, as long as they're semi-lean. You can see there's not a whole lot of fat on this. I like a little bit of fat just for flavor, but we're going to cook that on a really nice high heat. And we're gonna cook that. I like the meat cooked to about medium rare.
Okay.
So we're gonna let that on there, and we're gonna probably flip that once or twice. And I've put some nice steak seasoning on there, which is black pepper, some salts, and those types of things, which is really gonna enhance the flavor of that steak. While that's cooking, what we could do is we could put the green part of our salad together. by chopping up some of the greens.
Oh,
so the
okay.
greens that I've chosen for today are romaine lettuce, which has a really nice mild flavor. It's a little bit bitter, and it's nice and crunchy, which I like that crunch.
Okay.
And we're pairing that together with spinach because spinach is kind of soft and it has kind of a sweet type of a flavor. So I think when you choose salad greens, you should choose ones that complement each other. Like I probably wouldn't have two bitter lettuces together or two crunchy lettuces together. I think it's interesting if you kind of make them kind of complement each other. So I'm just going to take our romaine here, and I've just trimmed it, and you can hear it's nice and cold, nice and crispy,
Yes.
and we're just going to cut that into bite-sized pieces so it's nice and easy for our guests to eat,
Okay.
like so.
Looks good.
Okay,
Now, have you
looks-
ever grilled romaine lettuce? I
You
see a lot
can.
of recipes that they've grilled a lot of the romaine lettuce.
That's a very, very good point because some people do that. The only thing I do is I would take a misting bottle and I would mist it with oil first.
Oh, okay.
And
Good
then,
kitchen tip.
and that
Yeah.
way on the grill, if you don't do that, it'll get all dried out.
Good
And I
tip.
think not kind of what you're looking to do. But yes, people do grill lettuces, and it's a cool point because sometimes it changes the flavor. And that charred taste on lettuce, people don't are not used to that, and it's something that's very interesting.
Right, okay.
The next thing we're going to do, Kim, is we have to cut some vegetables also to go
Okay.
onto this salad for our what we call our garnish.
Okay.
So we're going to use some nice tomato here, and you want to cut them a little bit on the thick side.
Okay.
Because if you don't, when you put them on the grill, what'll happen is they may turn to mush. So
Oh, okay.
you want to be careful
Wouldn't
not
be
to
very
do that.
appealing to the palate.
Exactly. Now we're going to take some red onion here,
Okay.
and I don't know if you like onion.
I do.
I really,
love
really
red
love onion.
Yeah, I love the flavor of red onion, especially when it's grilled. Just it has a great flavor
when
too.
it's cooked. And then we're going to take a couple of pieces of zucchini,
Okay.
and we're going to cut them into coins.
Okay. Now, Chef Dave, I do have a question too with the red onion. So, I've seen several recipes when you're grilling the onion. A lot of chefs will put like a skewer through the center so it doesn't fall apart. Have you ever tried that before?
I
or-
haven't. What I
Okay.
try to do is I just try to keep an eye on it, so
Okay.
so it won't do that. If you overcook it, or if you jostle it around too much on the grill, you may have a problem with that. As you can see,
Okay.
I'm just going to gently coat these with a little bit of this oil,
Okay.
just so it doesn't stick to the grill.
Okay. All right.
And the natural flavors from the vegetables and the onion will come out as we grill. So what we're going to do
Right.
is we're going to take these and we're going to kind of put these
Right on the grill. Okay.
right on the grill. You know, some people are a little bit afraid of grilling vegetables, but if you're careful with them, you can get them to work really nicely.
Okay. And how about like an olive oil? So I notice you're using a vegetable oil. Do you recommend ever using an olive oil for grilling or?
Very, very good point.
Okay.
And no, I don't.
Okay.
I would use olive oil to finish a salad dressing or stuff like that, but I wouldn't recommend doing it with for the grill on vegetables because olive oil has a much lower smoking point and it burns quicker. So I don't think that that type of oil is good for the grill, but it's good for finishing salads.
Great point. Okay.
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 So,
Great point.
so we're going to continue to let these cook. These are
Okay.
going to take a little while.
Okay.
Of course, the meat's going to take a little bit longer than the vegetables and that type of a thing. And while that's happening, we can dress our salad. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I'm using a vinaigrette dressing here, which is about 3 parts of oil to 1 part vinegar, some Italian type seasonings and those types of things. And there's 2 rules of thumb in the restaurant business. A lot of places, they don't like to dress a salad. They don't like to really dress a salad because the dressing starts to wilt the lettuce. But if you serve salad dressing on the side, not all of the salad gets coated with the dressing. So it depends what type of an operation you have. If I have an a la carte restaurant that we're making the salads to order, I would suggest tossing the salad greens in the dressing
Okay.
before I put the rest of the components of the salad together.
Good tip. Good kitchen tip. And then also, I'm sure it probably also, what type of lettuce that you're using too. It depends
Yeah.
how it's going to hold the dressing. Some can be a little bit heavy on some of those greens.
Right, and some salad greens, Kim, are really delicate, and some are more durable and sturdy. And I think that spinach and the romaine are very good examples of that, because the spinach, the baby spinach that we're using, and I like using baby spinach because of the rib is thinner, and you don't have to clean it, and it's not tough. It's very, very delicate, and the romaine lettuce is one of those ones that holds up well. I think it depends what type of lettuce and stuff you're using. That would depend also if you're going to dress the salad or not.
Okay.
There's a lettuce called Boston Bib, which is very, very, it's very, very delicate. And if you try to grill Boston Bib, if you try to dress it before, I think that you would find that it would get saturated with the dressing and maybe not work out all that well.
Okay, so that'd be something more for like a panzanella salad, and something more of those fresher ingredients that
Exactly
you're not going
right.
to be adding any heat to. Makes
Exactly
sense.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, looks great.
So we're going to continue to let these cook. As you see, they're getting some color. They're starting to char a little bit. But we're going to let that steak cook for a little bit longer.
Okay.
So
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to allow this to cook, and we will be right back with Chef Dave Pembleton here at Cooking Classic. Welcome back to Cooking Classic. I'm Kim McLendon, paired with Chef David Pembleton, and he's going to be finishing up that delicious grilled steak salad. So, Chef Dave, tell us what we have to do next.
Okay, well, Kim, we had to remove the steak from the grill because you don't want to carve the steak when it's still that hot. So we've allowed it to cool down a bit, and now we're going to slice it. And when you slice a piece of meat like this that's been grilled, you want it to eat tender, so you want to slice it on a bias, which means on an angle, and you want to slice it thinly. So those two things will help that piece of meat eat really nice and tender. So we're going to kind of try to do that. Okay. And we have our salad here, our salad greens ready to go, and we're gonna slice our steak here. And I like it to be about medium to medium rare. So you should see it having a nice red center. It's really juicy that way, and I kind of prefer it. But if you wanted to cook it more well done, you could do that. If you wanted to cook it medium, and like I said, you could use a lot of different types of meat. If a New York strip steak like we're using here isn't your favorite, you could use a filet.
Okay.
If you didn't like filet, you could use a sirloin. If you didn't like sirloin, you could use some other hanger steak. So it's kind of like
Whatever your liking is.
yeah, whatever your steak preference is, you can choose that steak.
Okay, sounds good. And also, Chef Dave, once you take that steak off the grill, is there a little bit of carryover cooking taking place where that internal temperature is still beginning to rise by a few degrees?
Absolutely, up to about 5 degrees.
Okay.
So that's why you always want to remove it kind of before it gets exactly where you want it.
Okay.
And another thing, people have a hard time sometimes deciding rare and those types of things. I find for people who are cooking at home, a lot of times to use a thermometer is probably the smartest thing that they could do.
Okay.
And if you wanted something to be about medium rare, I would probably pull it off the grill at about 130 degrees.
Okay.
If I wanted it to be medium, maybe I'd pull it off at 145.
Okay.
And if I wanted it to be well done, maybe I'd pull it off at 160.
Okay.
So that way you could get closer to the internal temperature that you're looking for.
Okay, great kitchen tip. Great
And then
kitchen tip.
another thing we're going to do, Kim, we're going to put our nice grilled vegetables. You can see that has the really
Great.
nice lines on it.
That's good.
I'm going to kind of...
Now, could you add any cheese? Would you add any, like maybe types of cheese to the salad as well? Or
Yeah, you could put
Okay.
anything you wanted on. I would probably suggest a nice dry cheese like a pecorino romano or a
Okay.
Parmesan, that kind of thing, or those types of things. You might even want to include a nice piece of garlic bread on the side.
Oh, that would be good.
But that's our steak salad.
Wonderful. That looks great. Wonderful.
You can see all the beautiful colors. You can see the grill marks. The greens look nice and fresh. You can see that it's nice and lightly dressed. So there's a lot of color, and I can see the flavor in that dish.
Yeah,
So
very colorful.
That's our steak salad.
All right. Well, Chef Dave, thank you so much for sharing this recipe with us.
You're
It looks
welcome.
amazing. I can't wait to taste test it. And we will be right back with more of Chef Dave Pembleton's salad. Welcome back to Cooking Classic. I am Kim McLendon, joined with Chef David Pembleton here at the Luzerne County Community College Culinary Institute. Chef Dave, I hear you're going to be making for us a shrimp, cucumber, and tomato salad.
Right. It's a nice thing to make with the shrimp and the cucumbers and the tomatoes. They go nicely together. They have a lot of color. The protein goes nice with all the vegetables, and we're going to make a very light vinaigrette type dressing, and we're going to finish it off with some fresh basil. So it's nice and colorful, it's flavorful, and it's refreshing.
Okay, well, I'm anxious to know how to make this. I love shrimp, I love cucumber and tomatoes. So what's the first step to creating this delicious salad?
Okay, so the first thing is I have to grill the shrimp, and the grill's going to give it a nice smoky type flavor.
Okay.
I'm using Gulf shrimp, which are my favorite.
Okay.
And I'm going to season them with just a little bit of salt and pepper, because the grilling will give them a lot of flavor. So we don't really need a lot of seasoning.
Okay.
Now
All
I've
right.
peeled and deveined these shrimp, which means that I've taken the back, I've taken the shell off, and then I've gone down the back to remove the digestive tract.
Okay.
I'm using a Gulf shrimp, and to me the Gulf shrimp is probably the most tender. I'm using a size 21-25, which means that there's 21 to 25 to a pound. You want to know that because for a salad presentation, I think that this size lends itself to this type of presentation.
Okay.
If I were going to make a shrimp cocktail, for instance, maybe I would tend to use something that's bigger, like a U10 or a U15, which means
Okay.
there's under 10 or under 15 to a pound.
Okay.
Shrimp generally comes in frozen, and it generally comes in 5-pound packages. To me, there's domestic shrimp and there's tiger shrimp. I don't use them interchangeably, and I think that the domestic Gulf shrimp are probably more tender. So I tend to want to use them, but you can
Okay.
realize the savings in buying tiger shrimp. So it depends exactly what you're doing with them. If you can get away with using tigers, hey, if you can save some money, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Okay, so while that's happening, Kim, while that's cooking, it's going to take a little bit. We're going to take our cucumbers and we're going to quarter them. Now I'm using an English cucumber, which means they have very thin skins and they have very little seed.
Okay.
So I really like using them. They're a little bit more money, but I think that they're really worth it.
Okay.
So we're going to just throw those in the bowl. This is one of those salads that I'm just going to let fall onto the plate.
Oh, okay, great.
So sometimes you arrange salads, Kim. Sometimes you place them in a, the exact way you want them, like I did that steak salad. But sometimes you want it just, sometimes food is best the natural way it falls out of the pan or the natural way it comes out of the bowl.
Right.
Sometimes it's a really nice way to present things.
Right.
Now we're going to put some tomatoes in here. I'm using grapeseed tomatoes, which have a really beautiful flavor. I don't like to use them whole though because I like to make it a little easier for my customers to eat.
Okay.
So I'm going to slice them in half, and by doing that, you can see the insides and the seeds and all that type of thing, and I think it just adds to the beauty of the salad.
And I notice you're kind of slicing them on a bias too.
Yeah,
Look
I think it
appealing.
looks nicer.
It does.
You
It
know?
looks really nice.
It looks
Very
nicer
nice.
and it looks bigger. And anytime
Yeah.
you can make things look nicer and get your people to think they're getting more for their money, they like that.
Right.
Okay?
That's
So
true. Very true.
we and I just love the way these taste. So we're going to use a few of these tomatoes. I'm using about a pint.
Okay.
And you notice I'm using a paring knife.
Yeah,
So
I did notice
at
that.
the Institute, we have our own knife kits, and there's a correct tool for the correct job. So to devein shrimp and to cut small things, I would use the paring knife. Now I'm going to slice an onion here. So I'm
Okay.
going to use my chef's knife because this is a little bit bigger and a little harder to cut. So we're going to kind of use. You notice I'm curling my fingers back
I noticed that.
as I cut this. Why do you think I'm doing that?
You don't want to cut your fingers. As a former student of yours, Chef Dave, I do know you don't want to cut your fingers.
It's very important,
Be
right?
Very cautious. Right, exactly.
Very important. And
Another good tip.
if you curl your fingers back, for the most part, as long as you're paying attention, you won't cut yourself.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for these shrimp to. Now you can see
look
they've
good.
turned a
They
nice
look
pink
beautiful.
color. They have a nice
Char on them.
char on them, and that's kind of what I was looking for. So we're going to let them cook maybe another minute. As you can see, shrimp doesn't take very long to cook. So we're just about done there. And when you don't see any fleshiness towards the inside, it should be like snow white all the way through. And that's the way you can see it. It should be a snow white color all the way through. And if you see any grayish or fleshy type part, you need to leave that on there just a little longer.
Okay.
But
good
shrimp
tip.
doesn't take very long to cook. Now I'm going to cut up some green onion because I really, really like the taste of onion. As
Smells
you can
good,
see, this
too.
time I'm leaving the knife on the board because I can cut it more effectively in doing that. And now I'm going to mix this together.
Looks good. And also, Chef Dave, is it true the smaller the chop, the more flavor you're going to kind of retrieve from that onion?
To a certain point.
Okay. Okay.
You can chop something as small as you want until you start to mince it. But when you get garlic and you get onion and you mince it too fine, it actually makes it bitter.
Okay. Good tip there.
So I'm going to put these over here for now until they
Okay.
cool off a little bit. And then we're going to continue. We're going to make our vinaigrette next. And then we're going to put this whole thing together.
Okay. Looks good.
Now, you asked about oil. We used a vegetable oil for actually coating these things to go on the grill. But when we make our vinaigrette, we want to use an olive oil because I think olive oil has a nicer flavor and a better mouthfeel. So to make a vinaigrette, we have some olive oil here. And the recipe for a vinaigrette, two things need to happen. The ratio has to be 3:1. So we're going to have 3 parts of oil to 1 part of vinegar, or today, instead of using vinegar, we're going to use lemon juice because I think the lemon goes very, very nicely with the shrimp.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to put our lemon juice in here, like so. And then I'm going to put some seasoning. I have some salt and some pepper.
Okay.
And you can use any type of seasonings you want.
Okay.
But I'm not going to put a whole lot of seasonings in here because we have a whole lot of flavor. Plus, we're going to finish this off with some fresh chopped basil. Okay?
Ooh, okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to whisk this. Just enough so it's kind of mixed.
Okay.
You know, you see it starts to get a little cloudy. And that's how you can tell that, hey, it's enough, okay? So it's just a plain vinaigrette. We're not emulsified in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And now we're going to take our dressing and we're going to mix it in with our other ingredients. Okay. And you can see how beautiful the
it's
colors.
Very colorful.
Yeah,
yes.
and look at the way the oil kind of napes over all of the vegetables, and it kind of gives them like a nice shine. Okay?
That's beautiful.
And this is what I mean about letting it fall out of the bowl. Okay? This part of the salad, I'm just going to let it fall right out of the bowl.
Oh, wow.
Just like the way it is.
So that's a very hearty portion. Would you say that would feed 1, 2, 3 people? How many people would you say?
Well, it all depends how hungry you are.
It's
but you know, this is more of a salad that you would put in the center of the table and let people kind of help themselves too, I think.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of, you know, food here. Now we're going to just place the shrimp on the top, like so,
now
so you can kind of see them.
Okay. Now, would you put any type of cheese on top of this particular salad?
I would not.
No,
I think this is a real flavorful, healthier, I guess, type salad that, you know, I don't think cheese would do it any good.
Okay.
But if I really wanted to, I would probably choose pecorino romano.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and then the last thing we're going to use here, I love to use fresh herbs. Okay,
oh, yeah.
So we have fresh basil here, and I'm just going to take a few leaves,
Just kind of
like so,
on top of each other.
and I'm just going to chiffonade them together. Another fancy cooking term. Okay, means to roll up a little bit, like so. So it's easier to cut. And then I'm going to take my knife here, and you can see I'm curling my fingers back as I'm cutting. And boy, the flavor and the smell of fresh basil is just so awesome.
Can't beat that, that's for sure.
And we're going to put a little bit of that on the very top.
Wow, Chef Dave,
like
that's
so.
great.
And then the last thing we're going to put here, Kim, is I'm going to put a garnish right on the very top.
Wow.
And that'll complete our grilled shrimp, cucumber, and tomato salad.
Chef Dave, that looks absolutely amazing. That looks delicious.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Chef Dave, for joining us in the kitchen today and sharing with us these delicious salad recipes.
You're welcome.
Be sure to join in again next week for another episode of Cooking Classic.